International Women's Day is a day of recognition to celebrate the social, economic, cultural, and political contribution that women have made. This video is also to raise awareness of the work that is left to be accomplished. 872 Squadron fully acknowledges International Women's Day and would like to express our gratitude. Women have made significant contributions over the years. Throughout this video, you will find that women had to face tough challenges due to the circumstances at the time. This video recognizes the commitment that women have made to the cadet program. The purpose of this video is also to teach and encourage inclusiveness, as it has benefited us greatly.
Girls have participated unofficially in cadet training almost since the very beginning. Shortly after the formation of the Highland Cadet Corps at Guelph Grammar School in 1882, a female cadet company was also formed called the Daughters of the Regiment. Some high schools also formed girl cadet detachments that paraded alongside boys, such as the Nanapee Collegiate Institute in 1942. By 1943, the Air Force had discovered adolescent girl cadets unofficially operating without any assistance or recognition by the Air Force in Vancouver, Victoria, Saskatoon, Prince Albert, Kitchener, Shawinigan Falls, and Dartmouth.
Those air cadet squadrons that did train girls were careful to maintain a separation along gendered lines, with boys and girls receiving different types of training and uniforms. In line with the Air Cadet League, these squadrons made it clear that the training of the boys for potential active war service was their first priority, with the girls as a secondary consideration. The Shawinigan Falls, Quebec Squadron Number 14, for example, began training girls in what they dubbed an Air Cadet Auxiliary Squadron as early as 1941, and within a year had 42 girl cadets on parade. The girls were issued with skirts, white sweaters, embroidered with an Air Cadet emblem, and a wedge cap. They were trained in first aid, communications, mathematics, aircraft recognition, and knots and splices, but did not receive any of the mechanical or aeronautical training reserved for the boys.
Unit's commanding officer, Flight Lieutenant R.L. Desmond, believed that these subjects will be of value to the girls and to the RCAF should they wish to link up with the Women's Division on reaching enlistment age, and would enable them to get into actual operation rather than office work. Despite being a little discouraged at the refusal to recognize girl cadets, Flight Lieutenant Desmond noted that, "I believe the training of highly intellectual females to be next in importance to the training of aircrew," and boasted that 2 of the girls in his squadron had gone on to join the RCAF Women's Division. The Lady Hughes chapter of the Imperial Order Daughters of the Empire in Lindsay, Ontario, put a request to form an air cadet squadron for underprivileged, or what might be termed delinquent girls between the age of 13 and 18 in 1944, but was denied by the Air Force.
In addition, a Toronto woman named Ruth Templeton took it upon herself to form an air cadet program for girls called the Air Cadet Corps. By August of 1945, Mrs. Templeton had enrolled 95 girls between the ages of 15 and 18. In the face of persistent RCAF denial of recognition and assistance, Templeton turned to the Army and renamed her group the above-mentioned Armyette Cadet Corps. Despite this, girl air cadets, either as part of a boys' squadron or in their own squadrons, sprung up across Canada during the war.
Toronto's Armyette cadets, affiliated with the Canadian Women's Army Corps, wore feminized uniforms and were taught things such as military administration and army first aid, corresponding to the notion that women do not serve in combat roles. Despite this feminization of the Armyettes, there was still a hint that these girls had embraced aspects of the masculine military aggression. In January 1945, an unsuspecting Globe and Mail reporter referred to the Armyettes as the Bobby Sox Brigade, and promptly found herself flirting with the nearest snowbank. Although the reporter ultimately portrayed the girls as bubbling and beamy like burgundy, such a depiction is the antithesis of the message of the masculine, rugged, and highly disciplined soldier.
By the spring of 1945, girls made up half of the 4 cadet companies, which was around 400 cadets, and they paraded by Leamington High School Cadet Corps. The gender norms were somewhat blurred, but ultimately reinforced when it came to the small number of adolescent girls in Canada. In regard to women in the wartime Canadian military, Ruth Roche Pearson noted that male military authorities had no desire to change the gender status quo, and recruiting campaigns aimed at women were careful to emphasize the conformity to dominant expectations of femininity. Cynthia Camacho argues that girl cadet activities were often rendered cute in an attempt to downplay the masculine nature of military training. Although official enrollment statistics only reflect the number of boy cadets, World War II also saw the enrollment of a significant number of girls as unofficial cadets, sometimes with the tacit approval of cadet authorities and sometimes without.
During and after World War II, you could find cadet corps and squadrons that paraded a female platoon or flight. But these unofficial female cadets could never lawfully be trained, kitted, fed, or transported and were not allowed to attend summer camp. No official recognition was forthcoming during the war, despite senior Royal Canadian Air Force officers seeing a benefit in using girl cadet squadrons to recruit girls into the RCAF Women's Division and believing it would also, quote, have the psychological effect on minds of the parents which will assist in breaking down the objectives of parents to the enlistment of their daughters for military service. Although there were female state cadets by the early post-war period, the Air Cadet program consistently refused to approve of female cadets, despite calls for official recognition both from within and outside of the movement. As far as the Air Cadet League was concerned, the, quote, urgent and important, unquote, task of training boys for the Air Force meant that it was, quote, impossible to train girl cadets at this time, unquote.
After several years of unofficial participation in squadron-operated girl flights, the official participation of girls in the Air Cadet movement was approved by Parliament in 1975 on July 30th. The Parliament amended the relevant legislation, changing the word boys to person, therefore permitting girls to be official members of the Royal Canadian Air, Army, and Sea Cadets. In the late 90s, 30% of the strength of Air Cadets were made from girls all over the country. Over several decades, girls have gone a long way in the Air Cadet program, from being unofficial cadets to official ones that are widely accepted and granted the same privileges as their male counterparts. This endeavor could not have happened without the dedication and participation of those girls, the likes of those who tried over and over again to make female cadets recognized. International Women's Day is a day to recognize these efforts. So from everyone here at 872, thank you so much for fighting for us girls.
Thank you for everything you have done, all the impact that has been made from past years to present, and all the greatness that's to come in the future.
Happy International Day from all of 872 Squadron. Thank you to all the women that never gave up and kept fighting for the next generation of women.
Happy International Women's Day.
I support International Women's Day.
Happy International Women's Day.
My name is Flight Sergeant Gupta, and I just want to say Happy International Women's Day.
Happy International Women's Day.
Happy International Women's Day.
Happy International Women's Day.